get all the drywall on it, but,
Good evening and welcome to tonight's council session for June 27th, 2023. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Nelson.
Here.
Hildebrand.
Here.
Mattsdorf. Here. Penkwitz.
Here.
Tauschek.
Here.
Perman.
Here.
Shulsky. Gilson.
Here.
Let the record show we have a quorum. Next is the pledge. Please stand. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion.
So moved to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Perman.
Yes.
Mattsdorf.
Yes.
Shulsky.
Yes.
Penkwitz.
Yes.
Gilson.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Tauschek.
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Item 4 is the audience portion where we ask people to sign in and be recognized. This evening, we had no one sign in. We certainly encourage people to sign in and tell us what's on their mind. You do the talking and we do the listening. Item 5 is not needed. No items were removed from the consent agenda. Moving on to item 6. Before we start on 6, please make note that item B, as boy, has been removed from tonight's agenda. Okay, item 6 alpha, approval of substation transformer bid from Virginia Transformer. I'll call on City Administrator Tim Blakesley for a brief summary. Tim.
Sure. So A&R Pipeline Company is a current customer of Plymouth Utilities. They're planning to expand their natural gas compressor station located just north of Beechwood. As part of that, Plymouth Utilities has already agreed to construct a new substation by the end of 2025. That agreement was presented to council at the end of 2022. The product with the longest lead time for the substation is the substation transformer. In order to meet the timeline requested by A&R, we did have to get permission from the Public Service Commission to get bids for one of the two transformers prior to the certificate of authority being approved. Based on the bid we received, the transformer will arrive mid-2024. So Forrester Engineering on our behalf bid out the transformer and open sealed bids on June 15th. Upon bid opening, it is recommended by Forrester Engineering to award the substation bid to Virginia Transformer in the amount of $1,428,550 plus freight charges, which are currently estimated at $46,000. The full recommendation and bid tab are attached. Due to the need to expedite the purchase, staff does request common council approval subject to attorney review. Our attorney with Boardman Clark, who does a lot of our utility transformer substation work, is currently reviewing the terms and conditions and will be working back and forth between Virginia Transformer on some of the outstanding issues. So A&R did also agree to pay contribution in aid of construction, which is a kayak totaling $6.74 million, and they are responsible for 8/11 the cost of the new substation. So staff does recommend the approval of the substation transformer bid from Virginia Transformer. As described, Ryan Reborn, our electrical operations manager, is here tonight for any detailed questions.
Thank you. With that, the chair will entertain a motion with the contingency of the additional approval by the attorney on the project, should anything be needed on that.
Correct, yep.
So moved to approve the substation transformer bid from Virginia Transformer.
I'll second that motion.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? We have Ryan here, so certainly if you have any questions, we'll allow for any additional information from the floor. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Penkwitz,
Yes.
Matsdorf,
Yes.
Tauschek,
Yes.
Gilson,
Yes.
Shilsky,
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Moving on to item 6C, discussion and action on Class A combination beer and liquor alcohol license for Weber's of Plymouth. Tim, you want to give us a brief summary on that, please?
Yeah, just I would say a very brief rundown. 6B was removed from the agenda at request of the property owner. 6C is a Class A combination beer and liquor license for Weber's of Plymouth. Staff recommends approval of the license as presented.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Class A combination beer and liquor alcohol license for Weber's of Plymouth.
I'll second.
Second, Shilsky.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion?
Yes. Does that give
Alder
them,
Hildebrand.
that gives them any right to drink on property?
No,
Off a
this
container?
Nope, this is just their regular license to sell for off-premise
Just a
consumption.
regular retail license?
Correct, yep,
And we have those in other establishments in the city.
that's correct. This is what they would normally get on a yearly basis.
Any other questions? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Tauschek,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Matsdorf,
Yes.
Shilsky,
Yes.
Penkwitz.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Moving on to item 5D, approval of Sunset Drive Fiber Optic Expansion Project bid from Telcom Construction LLC. Administrator Blakesley, you want to give us a brief summary on that, please?
Sure. So in January, the Common Council approved Resolution Number 4, directing ARPA funds for the fiber optic expansion project to well 11, 12, and the Sunset Lift Station. This was listed as first priority for the use of the funds, and the railroad crossings were listed as second priority. So as approved by Resolution Number 4, the expansion was estimated to be $147,000 approximately. Of this, $32,600 was a firm cost from MCE&A Fiber for project engineering and bidding. And then $115,000 was estimated for the construction portion of the project, which bids were required. 7 bids were received on June 21st for the construction project. Unfortunately, the lowest bid came in at $162,000, which is approximately $47,000 over the original construction estimate. The project, again, was set as a priority by the Common Council, and the project engineer, MC&E, does not anticipate that rebidding of this project will result in lower costs in the future. In fact, MC&E thought costs of this project are only going to continue to rise. So we do have $18,000 additional dollars in the ARPA fund. However, staff does recommend saving those funds for a future project on the city side if something does come up. The utility does have capacity to cover the remaining project balance, $47,016. This is as a reminder, well 11, 12, and the Sunset Lift Station are currently connected wirelessly to Plymouth Utilities. There's currently communication and security concerns at those wells. We have cutouts which result in failed cellular communications, so that's unreliable to the wells and lift stations. It requires staff to go manually check those if there's an alarm. We have security camera issues at those lift stations. Overall, staff believes that this project is something that needs to happen for our infrastructure moving forward. And whether we do it now or in the future, it's only going to get more expensive. So staff does recommend approval of the project using ARPA $15,083, and then utility funds to cover the remaining project balance of $47,016. Dave Augustin is here, our IT manager, to answer any detailed questions as well, and I will also be able to answer any questions.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion to approve so we can discuss.
So move.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any questions? I would have one question, either Tim or Dave. What is our projected completion upon approval? Any idea how quickly they can move on this?
Upon approval, the start time is end of July. Everybody said it's the end of July, and it should be done this year, probably fall.
Okay. John?
If you have fiber optic rather than wireless, then does that prevent somebody from disrupting the service?
Correct. This will then allow us to have our entire utilities grid on our own private, city-owned network behind a firewall, secure and safe.
Well, that's important.
Yeah. That's good. Any other questions? Mike?
What's an ARPA fund?
ARPA is the recovery program, American, oh geez, now it's, I've said it so many times.
Rescue plan.
American Rescue Plan Act, thank you. So American Rescue Plan Act approved by Congress.
The
Each
federal
community,
one.
each community was allocated several $100,000 depending on size. I think, originally we were allocated approximately 800,000. Give or take a little bit there.
Any other questions? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Penquits,
Yes.
Shilsky,
Yes.
Matsdorf,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Tauschek.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Moving on to item E, approval of professional service agreement with Sand County Environmental for the intercommunity incinerator site with funding from the contingency fund. Tonight, Director Austin is here to give us a summary. Director?
Yeah, so the city of Plymouth, Elkhart Lake, Keel, and Glenbeulah are all part of the inter-community incinerator site. We all own and operated a portion of the incinerator site located on 67 and FF. That closed in 1988, but we still have requirements from the DNR to continually test the groundwater out there. In January, we hired Sand County Environmental to do all the testing out there. And they're recommending that we ask the DNR for a reduction in testing. They think after 2 years, it'll be based on just the dollar amount of the test, we'd recoup our costs. So the proposal in front of you is non-budgeted dollars, which is why it's here tonight, for use of contingency funds for them to prepare all the necessary documents and reports that the DNR will need in order to ask for that reduction. Again, their thoughts are after 2 years, we'll get that money back, and then any savings would be in the future. So they're hoping to go from quarterly testing to hopefully down to 2 times per year, and maybe get rid of some other metals and stuff that we could not have to test for anymore based on the history of the results we've had in the previous years. So again, the city share, so it's allocated out where the highest percentage is, it's all based on population. That's how the proportion, the percentages got divvied up. So our share is $5,968.20. Again, that would meet contingency funds.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion so we can discuss.
Motion to approve the Sands County Environmental incinerator site funding from contingency fund.
I'll second that motion.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion?
Just a question, do they feel that it's likely that DNR would
They do,
agree?
yep, and they've had initial comment, obviously they can't until the report comes in,
Sure.
but they do think it's a good candidate for a reduction.
Angie?
And then we need approval from the other 3.
Oh, so yes, all the other 3 have agreed to the reduction, we were the last one, yes, sorry.
Mike?
Kathy, how much did it cost to get the reduction in the sample? Like to get this done, there's a cost attached.
Well, so that's so the total is $10,290 is the total to get this reduction request.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Any other questions? This is something that, for all practical sake, will never go away, but it'll just simply be reduced and hopefully minimized in the future. Okay. Any other questions? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Tauschek,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Matsdorf,
Yes.
Shilsky,
Yes.
Penkwitz.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Moving on to item 7 will be a closed-door session. Chair entertains a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85 per N1 per NE, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. This is parcel 592718187700 in the city of Plymouth. Let the record show we're now back in open session. Chair will entertain any motion, if any, on discussions in the closed session. If not, we'll simply move to adjourn. Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you.